Good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments. This is episode 56 with me, your host, Richard Bexon. Today, we're going to be talking to Jen Dalton. Jen is the managing broker for Tropical Homes Real Estate, which is based in Flamingo, Guanacaste. If you remember many episodes ago, we actually spoke to her business partner, Britta, who manages more the vacation rental and property management side, whereas Jen is more of the real estate side. So she's a wealth of knowledge. She's been in the area for a very long time, has developed multiple properties herself. So it's going to be a great podcast getting her input on what's happening, what trends there are, what's developing, and also what she has in her listings that potentially she would personally invest into as well. Remember, for you guys that are listening, if anyone doesn't know the Flamingo area, they have a new marina coming in online, basically in the first quarter next year. There is a lot of people basically, kind of speculating on the area as well, but there are still some great deals to be had in that area, especially for commercial land and just like residential land as well. Condos are a little bit more expensive in the area just because, again, there is quite a bit of demand. But anyway, let's get straight into it. As I said, it's going to be a great podcast. And remember, if you have any questions for me personally, you can email me, info@investingcostarica.com. It's been great, been hearing from quite a few of you. Remember to give us some reviews as well. We started to get quite a few reviews in, so I appreciate everyone that gave a great review. And please continue to do it. Give us a thumbs up, share the podcast, guys, share them with your friends, family, or anyone else that's looking basically to invest in Costa Rica. It doesn't mean it has to be real estate. It can be a business, etc. I am full of useless information, as I like to say. But let's get straight into it. Good morning, Jen. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Very, very good. How's the weather up there in Flamingo today?
Oh my goodness, it's sunny, blue skies, a little bit breezy. I'm looking forward to this for the next 3 months.
Summer's here.
Yeah, summer's here. Welcome.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a little cold today here in the Central Valley. When the winds start to whip up here in like November, December, January time, Christmas is coming because it gets a little cold. I say a little cold. It's not really that cold.
Well, by February, I'll want to be in the Central Valley. It'll be hot.
Well, it's been a crazy year, Jen. You and I have talked about that, and I'm sure that this up and coming high season won't be much different. I think, I'm definitely seeing it. I'm sure that you guys are seeing it as well. But talking just about the last 6 months, what has really surprised you, but also what trends are you seeing?
I am really surprised at the luxury market trends. I'm also surprised by the need for multifamily trends. I think that people are now more willing to pay higher price tags for those luxury properties, given everything that's happened post-COVID. So we're seeing the AAA properties skyrocket, and it's pushing even higher. We're also seeing people who want to spend more time in Costa Rica and cannot necessarily afford to only live in their home. So they're looking for homes with guest homes. They're looking for multi-units. They're looking for properties where they can, even potentially build 2 or 3 homes, rent them out. So it's very dynamic to see how many people are testing the waters to see if they can be here long term.
Yeah, I'm helping a couple at the moment build a place in Pania, and they said, Richard, what should we build? And I think I said you should try and build everything for everyone as much as you can, without losing a sense of kind of purpose, but like have, rooms on the ground floor, have a separate apartment if you can as well, so that maybe, I don't know, the parents, the in-laws, or whoever you don't want in the main house, usually, they kick them out, but have that area, just so it can be kind of very multifunctional.
Yeah, it's definitely happening. And we're getting a lot of calls from architects, builders, wanting to kind of hear what the market demand is as far as multi-unit. They're trying to take single family homes, chop them up and make them, more dynamic so people can actually get better ROIs on their personal properties. And we're really happy to give them that feedback because we need those properties.
I agree. I'm sure we'll get into it later, but I think there's a huge shortage of, short and long-term rentals now.
Oh yes, the long-term rental market right now is on fire and suffering all at the same time.
And there's not much available.
No, there's nothing available. You could not find a long-term rental, probably starting until May of 2022. And
Wow.
you'd be lucky if you got something for a 6-month term.
Wow. Wow. Well, I mean, you're based in Flamingo, so in the northern Pacific part of Guanacaste here in Costa Rica, because I know that some of the listeners, it might be new to them. I mean, describe that area for people. What's the community like? What's there to do? And what are people like in that area?
Well, from a cosmetic standpoint, Flamingo is wow, wow, wow. It's the Beverly Hills of Costa Rica. It is high-end luxury homes everywhere you look. It is multiple white sand beaches to choose from. Of course, we have the new marina, which is state of the art. So from that perspective, I mean, it's just eye candy all over the place. So I love that. It's interesting. We're finally starting to see some of the commercial aspect of the area catch up with the residential demand. So we're really looking forward to some new businesses opening soon. And I think that a lot of those businesses are going to be catering to the new kind of owners we have here, which are people who have their kids in school. We're seeing those parents open businesses. So I think it's getting ready to change. I think 6 months from now, this is going to be like a very high-end boutique place to live. I'm hoping that the prices don't go that direction, but I really do think that we're getting ready to see some really cool creative things happen in this area.
Well, it sounds like a community is forming.
Yes, it's a great community. We have about four schools to choose from that are all US accredited. A couple of them are IB accredited. You have the option for a Costa Rica diplomas, US accredited diplomas. So I do think that's one of the driving forces that are getting families here, that, there's a choice for schooling. But yes, the community it's been forming for years, but we're about to see it solidify pretty tight, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure it's accelerating. I mean, every time I look at property in the area, especially commercial land, it's being snapped up pretty quickly. And I'm sure we're going to start to see, some, boutique shops kind of coming in. I mean, as you mentioned community has a school, it needs a bakery, it needs all this kind of like exciting stuff. So
yeah. I do think the commercial, it is catching up. I do think we may be short-sighted a little bit. I'm not sure how the public infrastructure, as far as water, is going to be seeing some of this over the next few months. I think that there is such an overwhelming amount of applications for new businesses, new construction, and I'm not sure how they're viewing it yet. I do think that the growth might slow down because of that a little bit, but I do think it's headed in the right direction.
I agree. Yeah, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday that was looking at buying something in Santa Teresa. But I just said, look, something's going to have to happen there just because there's so much construction going on. I don't know whether they have enough water, so
we're going to find out.
Yes, we will, so, but anyway, let's talk about the new marina, because I think a lot of people speculated, especially when there was, because there's been talk of the marina for, 30 years, and finally it got done, which is great, because wherever there's marina, it brings boats, which brings money, which brings homes and a lot of business. But do you think that there's a lot of people speculating on property in the area?
I do. I think that there is that. I think we have a lot of owners moving from Los Sueños up to Flamingo for a change of scenery. I think Flamingo is going to bring old boat community, and I think it's going to bring a new boat community too, just because the inventory looks different, the landscape is different, and I think people like change. I do think it's going to keep our area safe as far as an investment standpoint goes. I don't know that none of us have a crystal ball. So in the event that the market were to do an overcorrection, do I think that the marina will keep us 100% safe? No, probably not. But I do think it's going to give us a very strong buffer.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And really, go ahead. Sorry, Jen.
I was just going to say, remember that they still have to release several phases.
Yep.
So we've got the commercial phase coming up. We've got phase 1 of sloops coming up. So it's, we kind of have this long drawn out excitement going on. So that's why I do think for the next 2 to 3 years, talk about the marina is going to keep our area very strong.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just to give people listening in an idea, Jen, I mean, how much is, I mean, I know that this is probably a very difficult question to answer, but just to give people an idea, I mean, how much is a three-bedroom condo going to cost in Flamingo?
Oh, well, if you could find one.
Yep.
The same units that we saw selling about 18 months ago, and let's say a little pre-COVID, that were going 250 to 280, $300,000 are now hitting over the $500,000 mark.
Wow.
I know that it's a global issue that properties are up 25, 30%. And in some of our markets, the property values have doubled.
Wow. I mean, it's in very few places I think we've seen that in Costa Rica. It's not all over the country. I think Flamingo is one, especially again, COVID, but also people speculating on the marina there as well of the business it's going to bring in. The areas crazy like Masada, Santa Teresa that have seen huge price increases. They're ones that kind of really jump out because I don't believe Tamarindo has seen that big of a jump in its condo values.
I think that they have, but I think I feel that that is more of a supply demand issue. I think it's an inventory shortage.
Yep.
I do think that the Flamingo Marina hype is trickling in a little bit to Tamarindo for people who kind of want more of a nightlife scene.
Yep.
So I think it does have an effect, but I think we can agree that all over Costa Rica, we're suffering from the same inventory shortage as the rest of the world. But I do think that Tamarindo is more on the inventory shortage in general, with a little trickle over from the marina.
A lot of people contacting me, Jen, I mean, people that have not even been here before or coming down for the second time and are like, I just want to invest into Costa Rica, I mean, do you think people should be, in a rush to dive into investing or buying in Costa Rica? And what would your advice be to them?
I think it depends on what they want to buy.
Right.
Obviously, we've talked a little bit about the rental properties. I think that ROI is never going to change. I mean, as you know, I work with the Tropical Homes rental team, and I can give you day-by-day action shots of what's going on in here. And we already are having bookings for 2023. Which is very exciting. But I'm really encouraging my clients right now to buy built product. Yep. There's a couple of reasons why I'm encouraging that, whether the concept is remodel or new construction, unique property. I know if they're looking for that ROI, it's there, but I'm also a little concerned, like we had talked about earlier, the public infrastructure, when do they put a halt to this? Will they put a halt to this? And so I'm trying to encourage my clients to buy things that already have public infrastructure support. We've already accounted for them being here. Yep. We're not speculating on new construction at this point. So unless you have, you have a realtor that's very well connected or architects that are very well connected, I almost think it's getting a little risky to buy into development land. I think we're going to start seeing halts on segregations. We're already in a condominium moratorium for a lot of the Northern Pacific region. And I don't see those things being released anytime soon. So whether your passion is remodel, rehab, flip, investment, or buying something like that's, and when I say unique, it doesn't need to necessarily be incredibly unique, but for example, just buying something that has a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom, like a master suite concept where it can be shared by multiple families, where everyone has their own bathroom. I mean, these are key things to look for in unique properties. It doesn't necessarily have to be the 7-figure beachfront ocean view house. It can be a lot of different things.
Sure. I mean, how much stuff is there? I would say, how many homes, condos are out there available at the moment that you could buy and refurb? I just get the sense that there's just not tons of supply out there at the moment.
Well, you'd be surprised where we're digging it out. So I've been spending the last 6 months realizing that inventory and listings were going to be an issue, and I've been digging deep. So I've been looking for, let's say, condo buildings that maybe struggled to get condominium permits. I've been helping them do, get their buildings ready to sell, whether that was in a derecho or like a tenant in common. We're working through things now. And then we've also been going to neighborhoods and talking to, even in some cases, locals, people that have structure, people that have the water meters, and we're offering them very good money to relocate. I know some people will see that as a bad thing, and I don't necessarily mean for it to be one. But this is one solution that we've had in the market, is to buy things that have existing public structure to them, even if it's dilapidated, needs to be torn down, completely rehabilitated. And right there, we're able to create a market for people who can't necessarily go in at the super high price point.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it's much easier to get a refurb permit than it is a construction permit. So,
Amen.
I mean, what listings do you personally have that you would invest in, and why, Jen?
I have a couple that I think are really interesting. I mean, they're the ones that I love are around that $500,000 mark. I think it's a friendly purchase at the time. That seems to be a very popular price point. I have a full building of beautiful beachfront condos that are all needing to be refurbished. We have 6 in there for sale. And those are, $100,000 equity buy-ins. And they were all original units from the developer. He just didn't have the legal structure to sell them. So we have now taken the last few months and put that in place. They need some cosmetic upgrades, and boom, you have a 5-star beachfront property that's with $100,000 of built-in equity. We're also, in that building in particular, I'm trying to keep the HOAs very reasonable, because I know that is a huge thing for people. You've got your purchase price, but then your month-to-month cost of living can be astronomical if you're not careful with the HOAs. Well, so we've been able to keep those HOAs under $150 a month per unit.
Wow, which is great, because again, HOAs also, kind of eat into annual returns as well. So there can be a big part of that. So
I love that listing. I have 6 condos for sale in that building. I bought one myself personally. So that should be, when you see realtors buying into buildings, clients pay attention. And we actually had a second realtor buy in that building recently also. So it's kind of a ground level opportunity on a AAA property location.
So how many rooms do those condos have? I mean, just describe them a little bit.
Sure. We have 4 2-bedroom, 2-bath units. They're 1,100 square feet, open kitchen, living room concept. And then we have 2 penthouses. They're both 3-bedroom. One is a 3-2. Single level, and the other is a 3-3 double level with the master on the 4th floor. Obviously, those are a little bit more expensive. Those are in the high 6s. But the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, $468,000 for a 2-bedroom on the 2nd floor. The next listing for 2-bedroom, 2-bath on Potrero Beach right now, the same section of beach, is $595,000.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge, I mean, you could probably, how much do you think you'd have to invest? I mean, if you bought it at 465, was it?
468 is the highest 2-bedroom. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you bought it at 468, how much do you think you'd have to put in it?
Maybe $7,000 to $8,000.
And then how much do you think you could then sell it for?
Oh, a lot. About 100,000 more than you have into it.
Wow.
That's why I truly do think these are fun, because it's guaranteed equity. You need a little vision. Now, whether you're the one coming down here doing the painting, or you're hiring someone, or you just turn it over to an interior designer, I mean, there is a range of choices for remodel. I'm looking forward to starting mine very soon. And then I have, and I know you personally came and saw this property with me recently, Casa Corrales.
Beautiful.
It's a stunning home. It's a stunning home, and it's, for me, such a unique property in a lot of ways, because I think it's on price. I think the price point is there to sell. It's there. I do think the house was a little ahead of its time, maybe 6 months to a year, as far as design and the finishes that went into it. But that's Jose Mora for you. He can't help himself. He's becoming a very boutique, famous architect in this area. We actually have clients now who call us requesting Jose Mora's as if it's a piece of art.
Wow.
And like I explained to you, that house was an in-between project for him on very big homes, 6,000 square foot beachfront ocean view home. So that was a baby project for him that I think just turned out spectacular. The thing I love about it, and I don't think many people have caught on to this yet, is that that house with its uniqueness, its turnkey ability, just everything about it. I really think that house has the potential to do about a 12% ROI for the right client. Obviously, depending on owner usage per year, but I definitely think its new owner, should they choose to turn it into an investment property, is going to be very happy with that house.
Yeah, I mean, just the fixtures and fittings and the finishings were just, I mean, cedar wood everywhere, the porcelain tiles, the Venetian walls. I mean, it was just really well done. And I mean, again, I've not seen a house, of that size at that price point finished like that ever.
You won't ever again. So that house was meant to feel like the 7-figure home on a budget. I think all of us working in real estate here, especially in Costa Rica, as time has grown that I've been here for the last 17 years, we have more people with champagne dreams and beer budgets. And it's funny, and I know the architect gets really mad at me when I say this, but that is that house. Because that is $1 million home on half the budget.
Yep.
And I do think the right person's going to appreciate that.
I agree.
I know it's just waiting for its new owner to show up, and we're very excited for that person to get here.
Well, I completely agree. I mean, that property is not going to stay on the market for long. I can already tell, just because, again, walking into it, I was just like, I came home and I showed my wife the pictures and I was like, I want my house to look like this. I said, we're gutting the whole thing, Sil. We're gutting the whole thing.
Well, I think one of the other things too, so when it comes to rentals, resales, we have a lot of great go-to designers, furniture people, but I think sometimes some of the properties all start to look the same.
Yep.
And that's the great thing about Casa Corrales with Jose Mora. I mean, I pointed this out to you, but all of the paintings are original. They're all his. That house can never be duplicated under any circumstances. So whether it's, the finishes or the artwork or whatever the case may be, that house will always stand alone.
Wow. Well, maybe I know that we've touched on this. A lot of people, are looking to develop basically investment properties in Costa Rica. They kind of want, maybe 20, 30% is kind of lifestyle to enjoy it. They can come in kind of the off season, and then, 70, 80%, is going to be pure investment. Just because, again, it's very difficult. I had some clients I was chatting with yesterday. They were just like, look, we're going to sell our homes in the US. And I was like, well, what are you going to do with the cash? Because like cash is trash at the moment. Like you put it in the bank, like it doesn't do anything for you. You put it in the market, like, is this going to continue? Like, it's people are looking for assets to put these in. So I said to the clients, I was just like, I'd keep your stuff in the US. Just because, again, it's generating returns for you, whereas I don't know where else you put the money. But I mean, where do you think the gap at the moment is for steady returns and to potentially ride appreciation that's not those beachfront Potrero condos?
Well, I think that owners sometimes, new owners especially, get really, really excited about staying in their brand new properties, and I can't blame them.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think owners need to be smart about their usage. Fortunately, going back to the shortage of both the vacation and the long-term rental market, we have that going for the homeowners, right, or the condo owners. But where we see, a big gap is whether or not owners are being intelligent with their own use. One of my favorite things is that you take an amazing condo that's pumping a 10 to 15% ROI, you sell it to the client. Of course, that property has a premium price tag because of the ROI. And the next thing you know, it doesn't do well after they own it. Well, that's because they were here from US Thanksgiving to Easter, and you ate up 80% of your market right there. Yep. It's also our best weather. So I'm telling people, if you truly need it as an investment for future use or an investment for long term, be smart about your usage, because that ROI, if you can keep that well established, is always going to help you on the back end for resale. If you just need to be here during that time, I'm seriously encouraging my clients to look at 2 properties. Maybe they take their budget and split it in half. and they're buying one property strictly, surely for investment that they have no emotional attachment to, and they churn it, make money, and maybe they stay in the other one, but now they've got two income properties on the same budget, and I don't have to get the phone calls about, hey, my property didn't do a 10% ROI because I was here for the best 6 months of the year.
I think that's great feedback. I mean, I really do. I've just, the thought that jumped into my mind is the other day I was in Playa Grande, I saw a duplex. Someone had built like two homes next to each other on a single lot.
Yeah.
That's smart because
Yeah.
they could rent them separately. They could stay in one and rent the other. I was like, wow, whoever did that was smart. I didn't like the $1.2 million price tag because I thought it was well over.
I was gonna say, that's my listing. It's a great property.
But I mean, I said that I love Playa Grande. I think it has huge potential. I always talk about it on the podcast. What is your opinion on Playa Grande, Jen?
I like Playa Grande. I love Playa Grande. I think from a surfer mentality, I think from a vacation mentality, man, Grande's got some amazing vibes.
Yep.
I'm not sure that I trust the consistency of some of the local issues that have come and gone, whether we're talking about turtles or water or above ground swimming pools. I just feel like the rules change too much. And from an investment standpoint, if you're buying an existing property that has good standing history, okay, we'll go down there and look around. If you want to start new builds and you don't know what you're doing in Grande, I think you better stay out of it. And then, just making sure Grande is such a special area in the world. It is worth paying for. It is worth everything that people ask for their properties in Grande, but you just really need a Grande expert to help you. Someone who's lived there, someone who understands the okays and the no-nos, because it's a very sensitive area. And it's annoying sometimes because I want to sell more property in Grande, but I also know I'm not an extreme Grande expert. I have people I go to that will help. But I just think, you got to just love being there, but you need to be really careful when you're purchasing in Grande.
I 100% agree. I had someone that just bought 4 lots there, but that was a while back and they're about to start construction. So they got everything that they needed. But yeah, you just have to be very, very careful and use an expert in the area. So
you do. Well, because just like, for example, I think I know the clients you're talking about, and, when and maybe it's not the same people, but you buy property, you have your water letters, and then those water letters are good for 12 months. Maybe your architectural and your permitting process takes 16 months. You go in for a renewal and all of a sudden all the rules have changed.
Yeah. No, these are different ones. These guys actually bought 4 lots there. So they're building homes. So they just got it all. So they're about to break ground. Thank God. So
Yay for Grande new permit.
I mean, where do you see Flamingo in 5 years? I mean, if we had a time machine, Jen, and we were to go forwards, what do you think's changed in Flamingo?
Oh man, I have been here so long. I know this is an extreme example. I have watched this area go from what felt like, the 18th century, my 256 kb dial-up from Ise when I first arrived, that never worked, to today. And if I had to fast forward, again, I think we have some compounding issues, not issues, but COVID being a compound thought process, and also the marina. I think we are looking at exponential growth over the next 5 years. I think, the aesthetics of the boardwalk and the this and the that, it's going to truly just be like what it is today on steroids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Flamingo was the place in the 90s. Everyone came there in the 90s. So it's very nice to see that it's having a bit of a renaissance. I always say that places like, Manuel Antonio needs a bit of a renaissance, and Flamingo deserves one. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of, of land and beach and ocean in Costa Rica. I mean, just stunning beaches, crystal clear water. I mean, it's amazing.
It's beautiful. I do think we're gonna, in that same 5 years where we're watching this exponential growth, I think that there's just gonna be some natural annoyances like road improvements, and it's gonna be very interesting to see how the municipalities are paralleling with this exponential growth that I'm not sure we're gonna be able to slow down or stop.
I sat in traffic for about 25 minutes the other day in Guanacaste, and I could not
That's a common occurrence. That's every day now. there are 3 times a day this will happen to you now, okay? So it happens at school drop-off between 7:45 and 8:30. It will happen again between 2:45 and 3:30. And the funniest time that nobody would ever predict would be 5:30 to 6:15 for sunset.
Yep,
So
I hit the 5:30 one the other day.
yeah, it actually takes me longer at certain times of the day to get from Flamingo to Tamarindo now than it did to get from Flamingo to Tamarindo 15 years ago when the road wasn't paved because of traffic and growth. And so I do think it's going to be very interesting to see how the infrastructure is coming parallel with the growth, but I know that they're working on some additional accesses that are going to be coming from places that people would least expect it. So I've been watching it for about 2-3 years, and I'll just say this: always pay attention in Costa Rica to what ISE and Cupo Guanacaste are doing, because they always know 2 to 3 years beforehand. And if people will just drive around and look at where the new posts are, where the new lines are going in, it's going to give people a really good idea about what's getting ready to happen.
I think that's a great piece of advice. I mean, anybody that's, that's really in the area that wants to spend time looking at those posts, I mean, or rely on you. I'd come to you for that because I'm sure that you have that information, Jen.
Oh, great. We can go horseback riding and I can show you about 3 new access points that I think will be improved very soon. I mean, look at the Monkey Trail.
Yeah.
The Monkey Trail used to be like almost inaccessible to everyone all the time. And now it's considered a major highway. I mean, granted, I don't like that it's called Highway 911, but but it is still the Monkey Trail, and it is now considered an acceptable way to get around, whether you're going to the airport or Coco or, my new beloved Price Mart or whatever you're doing. This is now an acceptable way to get places. And who would have ever thought the Monkey Trail would have been a major highway for us? But it is.
Well, I mean, that's huge. I mean, again, I spend a lot of time in Coco because we have an 8-bedroom villa in the hills of Coco. So I'm constantly over there and traveling backwards and forwards between, Flamingo Tamarindo and there. So that changed my life completely, and also changed my my car maintenance budget as well.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we only need new suspensions every 2 years now instead of every year.
Exactly. Well, I mean, last question for you, and you may have answered it. I mean, if you had $500,000 and you had to invest it in business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you do with it, Jen, and why?
I think I go back to my original thought, which is buy something that even in a high market that you have built-in equity, or something again like Corrales, where we have enough rental comps in the area, we can actually give you correct projections.
Yep.
I think that's always second to built-in equity. But I'm trying to get all of my clients in a position that even should the market correct, again, nobody has a crystal ball. It might go this way, it might go that way, it might stay the same. I'm speculating it gets better, at least for the next 3 to 5 years. But again, anything that we can find with instant built-in equity that has unique features, beachfront, ocean view, all master suites, guaranteed ROIs. I mean, those for me are major triggers for buyers. And that's where I'm trying to help put my people, because this is a market that I saw only one time before in 2007. And I didn't think it could get better, but it's better.
Yeah, I remember discussing it with Britta, 06, 07, and now this one. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting ride as always. I mean, the great thing I think, Jen, about investing in Costa Rica is prices don't drop here, like they would do in North America. They don't rise and drop as much, just because again, the access to finance down here is not the same as the US. A lot of the people coming down here are cash buyers. But again, the demand for it at the moment, of those cash buyers, which again is increasing prices.
Yeah, I agree with that. We are starting to see some sellers try to move into seller finance options.
Yep.
But I agree with exactly what you're saying. What we find, yes, the prices don't drop, they don't do these huge plummets, but what we do see is the needs for individuals possibly to sell for other reasons, and that will come in trends.
Yeah,
whether they took out HELOCs to buy properties here, or whatever the case may be, jobs change. We do see it happen. But it's not, this is a very different market field than anything I've ever experienced.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Jen, I really appreciate your time. I know that you're very, very busy. It's a very busy time of year, and we're only just getting started. But for anyone that wants to contact Jen, I'll put all of her contact details in the description. And Jen, I very much appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. This was fun.
You're welcome. You have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that podcast with Jen. As you can see, she's a wealth of information, been in Flamingo for quite a bit of time. We've had Melanie, we've had Rebecca Clower, and we've also now had Jen on the show from Flamingo. As you can see, it's quite a booming area. There's quite a bit of real estate happening in the area, and it's developing. So I think for anyone that's looking for kind of more of a dead cert, kind of investment that's willing to probably go, min $500,000 and up for a condo, and probably, moving up there into the millions for a home. It's definitely is, as she said there, the Beverly Hills, or soon becoming the Beverly Hills of Guanacaste. But remember, guys, if anyone has any questions or needs any help with anything, you can email me in info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. Again, been another great podcast, guys. If you've enjoyed it, please give us a review, thumbs up, and share it. Have a good one. Bye.